Hey guys, Fox here with another Set 6 updated deck profile for you guys. Today we have Baromagnes. Just got one card in the set, but it definitely helped with the consistency and the overall power level of the deck. Obviously, the card we're talking about is Direful Doll Amandine. So we'll go ahead and get in the deck. The ride line changed up a little bit from my last deck profile. In the grade 1, we're running Flaming Pony now just because Amandine allows us to abuse it with her skill. Its ability is when it's in soul, you can bind it to soul charge 2. The Electro Spartan still remains the same skill. When it is rode upon by your Baromagnes, you can put a card from your hand into soul, draw a card in soul charge 1. Baromagnes' skill himself, for those of you who don't know, when he attacks, you can counterblast 1, perform all of the following according to the number of cards in soul. 5 or more, you draw a card. 10 or more gets 10,000 in a critical until end of the battle. And 15 or more, both you and your opponent put all of your rear guards into your soul, and then you choose 2 cards from your soul, call them a rear guard, and they get plus 10,000 power until end of turn. And then the starter is the same as all of the D format starters. When rode upon, if you went second, you draw a card. And then getting into the main deck, we're running 3 more Baromagnes for the Persona ride, obviously. And then would be running 4 Curtis. I recognize when I was restructuring the deck that I only had 3, so I did order 1 waiting on it to come. So if you were building the deck on your end, would run 4 Curtis, obviously. So 4 Curtis, when he's placed on rear guard circle, you soul charge 2, and then you can counterblast 2, and all of your front row units get plus 5,000 until the end of the turn. The 5,000 does come in handy to help finish out games as well, and help you hit those big power number turns. And then moving on to the grade 2s, still running 4 Selfish Engraver, one of the better cards in the deck. On the attack hitting, on rear guard circle, you can soul charge 1, and then also on rear guard circle, at the end of the battle that it attacked, if your soul has 10 or more cards, you can put it into your soul to countercharge 1. So really good, helps you conserve soul in the deck. And then still running 3 of Kigura, Cutting Sword Dance Kigura. When it is placed on rear, you perform all the following according to the number of cards in your soul. 7 or more, you can counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand. You choose a card from your soul, put it in your hand, and then you soul charge 1. So it helps you kind of toolbox with the cards in your soul. You can get back your Direful Dolls. You can get back your Baromagneses to Persona Ride if you need to survive. You can get back your Guardians. You can get back your Brainwash Swirlers, so you really can get back whatever you need. And then there is 13 or more skill, is similar to Curtis's. All of your front row units get 5k until end of turn. And then rounding out the grade 2s, we're still running Keenly Ludily, 2 of her, so we don't deck out. Her skill is when it is placed on rear, if your Vanguard is Baromagnes, you can counterblast 1, choose any number of normal units from your soul, and it gets 5,000 until end of turn for each card chosen, and you return all the chosen cards to your deck and shuffle it. So if you're running low on cards and you're afraid of decking out, it's a good card in that aspect. There are rare instances where if you are pushing for game and your opponent's low on hand card, you can use it just to convert her into a big beater. Rarely comes up, but mainly there just so you do not deck out in the deck, because obviously a big problem when the entire focus of your deck is soul charging. And then the new beautiful card herself, would like to pick up a couple frame rares, is the Direful Doll Amandine or Amandine. Rear guard circle during your turn, if your soul has 10 or more cards, it gets 10,000 power, so it's a good attacker or booster. And then the best ability on the card is act once per turn, counterblast 1, and until end of turn, when you would soul charge by your card's ability, increase that number by 1. So if you're soul charging 1, you would soul charge 2. If you're soul charging 2 for like a Curtis, you're soul charging 3. So it just really quickly helps you get to that 10 or 15 optimally for your Baromagnes, which just really helps strengthen the deck. because it really helps you pick away at your opponent's rear guards. And really helps you just accrue constant advantage with the deck, which is what you want to be doing. You want to be hitting that 15 as quickly as possible. And because, I mean, it's really a glass cannon deck, but this really adds to the consistency that we see in the deck. So you want to be seeing them, and you want to be mulliganing for her as aggressively as possible, because she is the key piece to the deck. You want to be seeing at least one of her in your opening hand as consistently as possible. And then running 4 Brainwash Swirler, I would cut this down to 3. Right now I only have 3 Flaming Pony, waiting on 1 to come in the mail. So optimally you want to be running 3. His skill, when it's placed on rear, you soul charge 1. So with the Direful Doll ability, you'll be soul charging 2, obviously. And then when a card is put in your soul by the soul charge ability, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets 5,000 till end of turn. So basically it stacks. So, you know, say you soul charge 5 cards, you're going to be adding 25,000 power to him. So it helps you hit really nice numbers, whether he's an attacker or a booster. So really great card for the deck. I don't think you need 4 of it. You can get it back with your Kigra, and the Direful Doll and the ponies are more important because they help you hit the 15 quicker. The pony helping you soul charge 2. Running 2 more of the pony. Like I said, I got the 3rd coming in the mail for the main deck. You know, as I went over earlier in the video, you just soul blast it to soul charge, or not soul blast it, but you bind it from your soul to soul charge 2. So with the Amandine, as I said earlier, with her ability, you're going to be soul charging 3. So it's just nuts because you're hitting a 5th of your requirement to hit your 15 for Baromagnes. Then running the 3 Recusal Hate Dragon, obviously the better Sentinel. As far as if you have 2 or more cards, you have to discard. If you don't, and then we're running the 1 Elementaria Sanctitude. Feel like there's enough triple drive decks to, you know, rectify running it as a 1 of it. And, you know, obviously has the ability, if they have the triple drive, you do not need to discard, similar to the Recusal Hate, if you have less than the 2 cards in hand. So moving on to the triggers, obviously running the 1 over trigger. For those who don't know, the Dark States over triggers additional effect, gives you 100 million, like all the other over triggers, but its additional effect is you get during your turn, all of your Vanguards get plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical until end of fight. If you drive, check it. So really good, helps add that pressure to Baromagnes. So you're swinging with 3 crit if you have 10 or more in soul. Running 1 Brilliant Floral Euania and 1 Incorruptible Holyite Euantha, just to cover our bases for our extra attack decks like Bruce and Bastion, various other decks, even the Greya, you know, other decks that restand their rear guards, and then to cover our extra critical guarding, the Euantha, and then just 2 regular heal triggers. And then as far as we are running a lot of draw triggers just to run and see our combo pieces. Like I said, we need to find that Direful Doll as quickly as possible on our other combo pieces because we want to be hitting his 15 as quickly as possible. We're not as worried about pushing damage in this deck because we have the Baromagnes and the multiple attacks from his skill. He's giving himself a critical, so you really don't need to worry about pushing damage. Obviously running 4 Riley because she has the effect of the extra Guardian if your opponent's at grade 3 or greater. And then rounding out the triggers, you do want to run the effect critical and invest the more money in it because it does have the skill at the end of the battle that it boosted, put it in his soul to give one of your rear guards plus 3,000. So it does come up to get you that next tier of Baromagnes' skill. So helping you hit the plus 10 or plus 15. So honestly, I think the deck has gone a lot more powerful with the addition of Direful Doll, Amandine. Still feels like a glass cannon, but it feels like it's a lot more consistent of one, and it can keep up with a lot more of the powerful decks in the format, especially when you're hitting that 15 more consistently. A lot of the decks this format feel like they rely on their rear guards, so when you're getting rid of those, It really seems like it swings the matchups in your favor. It seems like the deck hits the 15 a lot quicker, and you can even hit that on your first ride to grade 3 turn with the amandine. So like I said, you want to make sure that you're mulliganing almost your entire hand looking for that amandine, because the deck really revolves around her. If you see her, you're going to be winning more games. So really enjoying the deck. That's about it for as far as the decks that I've updated in set 6. But if you do want to see anything else from set 6 or lyrical set 3, just let me know, and I'll go ahead and ask my friends if I can borrow the decks for the profiles. I know everybody we pretty much have all the decks in the group, so just let me know and I'll try to go ahead and get that profile for you guys. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment doll down below, and remember to subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.